There's always a solution, my dear boy. But how much blood must flow in the interim? This is actually a very exciting time for me, and it's also a very strange time because for once I'm actually on the opposite end of the interview. But yes, it's a very exciting time. We're actually here at the Empire Cinema in downtown Kingston, promoting a screening of a film that I've just completed. It's a feature film. It's a Sherlock Holmes original mystery that's authorized by Arthur Conan Doyle's estate. And that alone is something very exciting because to have the permission of the estate to make this film just lends it a certain amount of credibility. Years ago, I used to play Sherlock Holmes on radio in Montreal, and that was a former lifetime. But I've always had a fascination, a love for the character, and to have the opportunity to make something right here in town that's not only legitimate, but then to screen it on the big screen at the Empire Cinema is incredibly exciting. Sherlock Holmes and the Shadow Watchers is a very, very dark mystery. Okay, just like today, the Victorian public loved sensation. They loved horror, they loved murder, they loved mystery. So our story starts off with a gruesome, gruesome murder, a murder that makes Jack the Ripper look like Leonardo da Vinci. And what happens is this particular murder is reported in the papers the following morning. The article features gruesome illustrations. It's a step-by-step accurate depiction of this terrible, terrible crime. The only problem is the article was written 2 hours before the actual crime took place. So Sherlock Holmes is called in, and there's a mysterious group of masked and cloaked figures who seem to be orchestrating these terrible events. So who are the Shadow Watchers? The case of the woman who was murdered tomorrow. Sherlock Holmes and the Shadow Watchers is both an authentic Sherlock Holmes mystery. It's a frightening film in some respects. There's humor, there's drama, there's suspense.
That was uncomfortable, Holmes.
Yes, especially for the Cardinal. Now, why do you think that was, eh?
Well, I think I know where your thoughts have turned.
Yes. The Sherlock Holmes stories are stories about friendship, and that relationship between Holmes and Watson is the most important element. So in Terry Wade, I've got the perfect Watson. Not only do we have great chemistry on screen, but we also get along very well off screen too, so he's great. Richard Kerr is another local actor, but he's been seen in all sorts of things like Amelia and Murdoch Mysteries. He's playing Inspector Lestrade. We have the lovely Noelle Piche. She's playing Sally Saintsbury, who actually kicks off this story.
She's a music hall singer, and she fills her boots a little too full and staggers home one night, and that's kind of how the movie starts. She has a gruesome fate. Kingston is perfect for a setting for this particular film. It's very dark, and it starts out at nighttime. She's walking home on the cobblestone streets, and I think that's what sets the tone of the movie. Everybody that was a part of this, to my understanding, was volunteering, so it was kind of a group effort, and just to work with all the talented people that came together, it really, you didn't care whether or not it was volunteer. It's definitely something that you can be proud of, and I think that's the most important thing.
I've been contacted by people, believe it or not, around the world who have been really intrigued by this. So I'm really hoping that this little film that was shot here with the most meager means, but looks as though it was shot for tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I'm really hoping this little film gets seen by as many people as possible. And somewhere down the road, somebody might think back to, might read an article on Sherlock Holmes or be watching something on TV and said, yeah, I like that Sherlock Holmes with that Canadian guy. And if that's how I go, if that's my legacy when I depart this earth, that makes me a happy guy. And Kingston gets the opportunity to experience the world premiere April 6th at 7 o'clock. Now, how was that as a pitch?
Okay, bring a date, bring your family, but make sure you bring cash because there won't be any debit or credit transactions for the night of April 6th. So yeah, come on down to the Empire Theatre and bring enough for your tickets and popcorn.
This is the carriageway where Sally Saintsbury drew her final breaths, gentlemen.
Inspector Lestrade, how can you expect me to conduct a proper examination of the area if your officers have trampled through the scene of the crime?
We're all obliged to do our jobs, Mr. Holmes.
Where has the body been taken?
To the morgue.
I should like to examine it. The killer's technique could provide a good deal of information.
I doubt he's a medical man, if that's what you mean, Doctor.
Yes, he was rather messy. There's sawdust everywhere.
Still, I think it would be beneficial.
From the waters of Lake Ontario, you're watching The Source on TVCOGECO. Woo!